The morning sun pierced through a thin veil of clouds, casting long shadows over the small town of Maple Hollow. Detective Lena Harper stood at the edge of the orchard, staring at the spot where the girl had vanished 30 years ago. The leaves whispered in the breeze like restless ghosts. Now finally, she had something real, something that could change everything. The DNA. It came back from a National Cold Case Review initiative, part of a newly funded forensic archive project. A single degraded hair strand lifted from the ribbon of a balloon that had been found caught in a branch near where Eliza Benton had disappeared. The strand had matched someone in the system, a name Lena hadn't expected. Not a drifter, not a stranger, but someone who'd lived among them. Richard Calloway, high school teacher, volunteer coach, father of 2, deceased for nearly 5 years. The Calloway family had once been central to Maple Hollow. Lena remembered Richard vaguely from her childhood, always seen waving at the 4th of July parade or helping run the annual county fair. His sudden death in a house fire had shocked the town, but people moved on. Now, Lena had to open a past everyone wanted to keep buried. She drove to the Historical Records office, parked beside the faded brick building, and climbed the stairs 2 at a time. Inside, a retired journalist named Walter Clay greeted her with a frown and a thermos of bitter coffee. "You're chasing ghosts, Harper," he said, sliding a yellowed file across the counter. "But they still bleed." Inside the file were photos from the night Eliza vanished. A local fair, her last known location, the carousel. A blurry photo captured her standing near it, red cotton candy in hand. Just behind her, half-shadowed, stood Richard Calloway. Lena's pulse quickened. She visited his widow, Marlene Calloway, who lived alone on the outskirts of town in a house with shuttered windows and weeds swallowing the driveway. Marlene opened the door slowly. Her eyes were sharp behind heavy glasses. "You're here about Eliza," she said before Lena could speak. Lena nodded. "We have new evidence." Marlene stepped aside and led her to the living room. It was cluttered with books, photographs, and dust. She handed Lena a faded scrapbook. "He wasn't always that way," she whispered. "But something changed after his brother died. After the accident, he started sleepwalking, muttering things. I found him once in the backyard, burying nothing." Lena felt a chill. "Why didn't you tell anyone?" Marlene's hands trembled. "Because I loved him, and I was scared of him, of what they'd say, of what it would mean." Back at the station, Lena combed through old police interviews. A name kept resurfacing: Caleb Dunn, carnival worker, last seen arguing with Richard near the ride the night Eliza disappeared. Lena tracked Caleb to a rundown trailer park 3 towns over. He was older now, frail, his hands shaking from years of hard living. "Calloway was a good guy," Caleb muttered, "until he drank. Then he saw things, thought the fair was cursed, said the lights whispered to him." "What did he say about Eliza?" Lena asked. Caleb looked away, said she looked like the girl who burned, the one from the fire, his brother's girl. Said he had to make it right. Lena's stomach twisted. There had never been a mention of a girl in that accident. Only that Richard's brother died in a blaze that gutted a farmhouse. Back at her desk, Lena pulled up archived news articles. There it was, tucked beneath a grainy obituary. "Fire claims 2 lives in Barnhill." The second victim had no name, only "young woman, unidentified." Lena stood again at the orchard as the sun set, casting the world in dusky orange. She looked down at the dirt path where Eliza's last footprints had been found. She didn't have a body, but she had a story forming now. One of grief twisted into delusion, of guilt turned into sacrifice. Richard Calloway hadn't been a monster by birth. He was a man undone by tragedy. She stepped closer to the old carousel still standing at the edge of the field, its paint peeling, its horses stilled. The wind caught one of the horses and it creaked slowly, like it remembered that night. And Lena knew this wasn't over. She turned back toward her car, unaware of the figure watching her from the edge of the woods.